So, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's session on psychological safety at the workplace. At Skillemme, our mission is to empower individuals and organizations with the right skills for professional excellence. We specialize in corporate training, executive education, and customized learning journeys that blend technical, behavioral, and leadership skills to prepare professionals for today's dynamic workplace. So to take us through for today's session, we are delighted to introduce Mr. Vijay Kumar. Mr. Vijay brings over 25 years of global corporate experience with a strong background in both technology and psychology. He holds an M.Tech from IIT Kanpur and an MA in organizational psychology. A certified emotional intelligence coach, NLP coach, mental health trainer, CBT practitioner, and DEI specialist, he has impacted thousands of professionals building psychologically safe workplaces where individuals and teams can thrive. Yeah, thank you, sir. So over to you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. So let's start with psychological safety. So what comes to your mind when you think of psychological safety? So either you can unmute yourself or you can type your responses in chat window, so we can make it more interactive. So what comes to your mind when you think of psychological safety? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, usually people say, it's about trusting each other, right? And also people talk about, how can I put my ideas in front of my team members without any hesitation or fear of repercussions. So all these things, comes to your mind, right? So let us look at it. So in the next 45 minutes, probably we will, take a look at what is meant by psychological safety and what are the key behaviors for both safe workplaces as well as unsafe workplaces, and then some of the actionable strategies, like how we can create that culture of psychological safety in the workplace, in our teams, and who is responsible for it. So we will look into these aspects in the next 40-45 minutes, right? So here is one scenario. You can type your responses in chat window. So there is a meeting happening and team members identify a new project risk, right? But when the manager asks, okay, are you with me? Then most of the people say that it's a great idea. Let's move on. That's fine with me. I agree with the plan, right? This is what they are saying it out loud. But internally, they may say, right, I have a better idea than this. Because of these risks, it may not work out. And some people may say, I don't know what you are saying, but they are not opening up, and they're saying that, I did not understand what you're saying. But still they say that, yes, let's move on. Though they don't want to support it, but for outside, they say that, I agree with the plan, let's move on. So this is what we call it as an iceberg of silence. That means what we say outside is not exactly what we are feeling internally about that project, our risks, our issues, which we are foreseeing. Have you ever encountered this kind of situation? Yes. So what it means basically, why people are not able to tell exactly how they are feeling about this project or risks. Why are they suppressing their thoughts, and why they are telling something completely outside, are completely different to what they are thinking inside, right? Because many times yes, what happens is the managers probably when somebody say that this project doesn't work or there are some risks involved in it, maybe managers are not supportive of their discussions. Managers may say that this is my way or a highway kind of thing, or they may say that you have less experience, I have a lot of experience, or they may say that I understand the risks but we don't have time to investigate into it. So what happens is when, or even not only the manager, even probably sometimes the senior manager or senior team members, they might say that this is how it works, this is how we are doing all through. So what happens is when somebody is trying to identify a risk or telling something new, people are not appreciative of it and people do not accept it, and probably they may snap them. So now next time onwards what happens is these people feel that okay, even if I tell anything, my other colleagues or my managers may not listen to me. So instead of having that kind of very bitter feeling, they say that okay, fine, we will go ahead. But then what is the consequence of that? Right? You have identified a risk, but you are not telling it outside. Now, what is the consequence of that particular scenario? What happens to the project? Will the project be successful? No, right? Obviously, there are a lot of risks involved in it, but nobody is expressing it out. So when you don't express the risks outside, obviously, as a team, you would not be working on what is the risk mitigation or risk contingency. You simply leave it or ignore the risks. Now, what happens is during the project execution, you find that those risks are coming, those risks are realizing, and you don't have any plan. How do you mitigate or how do you want to have a contingency measure? So what happens is your project will be considered as a failure. There may be a lot of delays. There may be a lot of rework involved, and there is a lot of escalations may happen. A lot of blaming happens. So this is not good for a team environment. And this is one scenario. So now let us look at other scenarios, right? So a junior employee admits they accidentally did a mistake. But the team lead, when the person comes and says that, without knowing I have done some mistake, then the team lead says that this is unacceptable. How can you be so careless? Now, what will happen? What is the repercussion of this? So do you think that it is a psychologically safe space to work? See, genuinely, the team member is coming and saying that I have done a mistake without knowing, right? It's not intentional. But then instead of trying to fix it, the team lead or manager says that, this is unacceptable and how could you be so careless? So now what happens next? Whether the team member will come and tell you that he or she has done the mistake next time if something happens? Yes or no? No, right? So what happens is basically when people are ready to admit the mistakes, the managers are not supportive, the team lead or other colleagues, they blame them. Instead of trying to fix the mistakes, they try to blame, they try to pass sarcastic comments. What happens is next time onwards, even the person knows that there is a mistake, he or she will not inform that. So now what happens is, if that mistake goes into production, probably the customers will not be happy with that kind of errors. Or there may be a lot of other major issues may happen because of this issue. So it is always better to identify if any mistake is there in the early stages and try to fix it rather than suppressing it. But for that, we need supportive environment, isn't it? Right? Okay, now let's take up another scenario. A team member proposes a new tool for process automation. See, typically, this kind of situation happens when you have a lot of diversity in your team. There are a lot of senior team members, there are a lot of young team members are there. So when some young person, right, a junior person proposes a new idea or innovative idea or process automation, whatever it is, then typically we get the comment saying that, we have always done this way. Why you want to do a new way? Or, why are you wasting time? This is a very established way of doing the things. Why do you want to do it in a new way? Right? So instead of encouraging the people's ideas or innovation, people, other people simply they want to stick to the established procedures. So what happens because of that? One is there is no scope for innovation, right? Maybe you are doing something efficiently, no doubt about it. But still, probably because of the new idea or a innovative, process automation, things may change drastically. Probably your efficiency will be improved, or you may reduce the time taken for completing certain task by doing the innovation. Right, your productivity will be improved. But unless you test it, you don't know whether that works or not. Right. So now what happens is, one is you are not allowing for any improvements, and second thing, you are also discouraging the people to come up with the new ideas, isn't it? Right. So again, this is not a psychologically safe space to work. The third scenario, an employee is struggling with workload. So when the person goes and informs to their manager, the manager simply says, okay, the manager says that thanks for letting me know, and let's see how we can reprioritize tasks. So what manager is doing here? Yes, exactly. The manager is supporting the person, and he is having a open mind to see, okay, what tasks you have in hand and how can we reprioritize them so that the person can focus on what is important at that particular point of time. Obviously, right, if your plate is full and you need to know what to work on first. So if the manager is supportive, you will be able to focus and do it, as per the prioritization. So is it a safe space to work or no? Yes. But instead of telling that, if the manager says, I don't care, this is the work given to you, it is your responsibility to complete everything. And everybody else is also busy. So now what happens is the person will be immediately become defensive. And also sometimes, what happens is, okay, fine, if my manager is not supporting, what I can do? I will do whatever best I can do. So now what happens is, maybe he or she might take up some task which is easy to do, but probably it may not be a high priority task because the manager is not telling what needs to be worked on first. So that employee or the team member, he or she may take up whatever is convenient for them, and then they will try to finish. But probably that may not be the high priority task. So at the end of the day, what happens is you complete the task, but whatever your manager is expecting, you will not be able to complete. Right? So again, if some urgent task needs to be done, that may not get delivered. And again, what are the consequences of that? Your customers may not be happy, or there may be a lot of delays, or there may be a lot of rework, or there may be a lot of cost involved in it. All these things, happens. So did you understand, with these scenarios, what are the psychologically safe spaces to work, and how managers, team leads, or colleagues can support you, right? So now let us look at these pictures and tell me what you think. You can type your responses in the chat window, right? What are you seeing in these two pictures? Yeah, any responses? So in the first picture, the person is depressed, right? The person is very kind of isolated, and he's struggling. Yes, the first person is stressed out. Exactly. What about the second picture? Here you could see the employees are happy, and they are working as a team and they are engaged, right? So you could see the clear difference between the first picture and second picture. And so we call psychologically unsafe team on the left side. So some of the behaviors you can observe in the teams, like the ideas are withheld to avoid criticism, right? For example, I want to tell a new idea or innovative idea, but I always think that my colleagues, my team members, or my seniors or team manager, they always discourage me. So why should I tell my idea, right? There is no point. I come to work with a lot of enthusiasm and excitement, but when I'm not supported and my ideas are not heard, when my ideas are not recognized properly, then I'm shut off. Right? I don't tell any ideas. Similarly, mistakes are hidden. We have seen in the previous slide. So when somebody does a mistake and they go openly and honestly tells that yes, there is a mistake happened, and if that mistake is not taken in a right spirit, and if the manager or colleagues they only look at blaming the person for doing the mistake, then what happens is they will suppress the mistakes. Next time onward, they don't come and inform. So mistakes are hidden. But that is not good for your project. That is not good for your team. So at the end of the day, all the team members together should work to perform and to deliver. So, because of these particular mistakes, what will happen is the project is not considered as a successful thing. Right? And feedback is given, like, again, feedback is given not in a right spirit. Of course, again, the feedback, receiving and giving feedback itself is a very big, topic to discuss. But just in, due to lack of time here, say, for example, if somebody has done a mistake and if the manager like shouts and, in front of everybody, the person feels very bad. So there is a way you can give the feedback. It is not only from the manager, even the colleagues, how they can give feedback effectively. And similarly, how to receive the feedback, decently, right? So these are the things which we need to encourage in the organizations. See, again, the feedback should be given, with the view so that the employee will be developed. It is not with the intention of blaming that person. The intention always should be, okay, I'm helping the other person to grow. That should be the intention of feedback. Not the feedback intention of feedback should not be, okay, I'm blaming that person kind of thing, right? It should not be like that. And similarly, the silence, we talked about it, iceberg of silence, right? If your ideas are not heard, and what happens is people become very silent. So this is a very clear cut behavior which we can observe in the organizations where they are not having psychologically safe workplaces, right? So many times what happens is in the team meetings, like manager proposes something and most of the team members are silent. So the team manager thinks that everybody is agreeing with the idea, right? But silence doesn't mean that they are agreeing. Maybe silence means they are not courageous enough or they are afraid to speak up. So managers, team leads, the leadership team, they have to identify that particular pattern. They need to understand why people are silent, why they are not expressing their views. See, for example, if I'm proposing a idea, and if the idea is really good, the people can say, yes, this is a brilliant idea, and this has these many benefits. Or if my idea is not good, or it may have some risks, or it may have some negative impact, people should be able to express it very clearly that yes, your idea is good, but probably we may need to look at these kind of risks involved in it, or these may be the negative consequences of this. So when people can express that openly, that is, we call it as a psychologically safe workplace. But if the people become very silent, whatever the senior team member or a team lead or a team manager proposes, if the all other team members are silent, or they simply say yes boss, right, that is not really good place to work, because they are suppressing their expressions. We don't know, maybe genuinely they are okay with the idea, or they may not be genuinely okay with the idea, but because of the fear of repercussions, they are not speaking up. So as a leadership team, as a manager, as a colleague, we need to understand why they are not speaking up. And the blame culture, we already talked about it. Instead of focusing on how can we resolve this issue, people are stuck up. People, always look at why this problem happened. Why did you do this mistake? Why did you do this mistake? How can you be so careless? Yes, all those things are okay, but we need to focus on problem solving, right? We should be looking at how can we fix this issue now, so that we can move forward. Instead of getting stuck up at the problem, we need to look at the solution oriented more, right? So that is what we should do. So, but in the psychologically unsafe spaces, we can see people don't express their idea, they don't object anything, they say yes boss always, all these things keep happening. But in the psychologically safe team, we can see whenever somebody is proposing a new idea, all other team members encourage that. They may agree, they may not agree, that is a different thing, but at least they encourage, okay, looks like you are having a good idea, let's explore that. So that small sentence itself is very much required to encourage your team members, right? The people will feel very happy, they feel they're heard, right? And they feel that their ideas are recognized, they feel that their ideas are being at least discussed. It is okay if other people may not agree with that particular idea, but at least people should be open to explore what the other person is telling, right? Again, the mistakes are seen as a learning opportunity. Instead of blaming, saying that, okay, we have done this mistake, how can we avoid it next time? How can we prevent it further? Instead of that, if we simply blame others, then what happens is we never learn from the mistakes. And then constructive feedback, as I mentioned that we should always give the feedback with intention of developing others, not with intention of blaming others, right? So always, be it a colleague, be it a manager, be it a team member, even team members sometimes can give feedback to their managers, but the intention should be, okay, how can I develop others? How can we see the improvement in the other people by giving this feedback, right? So that should be the intention. And similarly, everyone feels empowered to contribute, because your ideas are heard, and your ideas are taken in a positive spirit. What happens is we come up with more and more ideas, right? That is much better for the team effectiveness. And problems are collaboratively solved. Again, it is not that, okay, this is mistake you have done, so it is your responsibility to fix it. Instead of that, let us everybody gather together and see how this problem can be solved, right? How this problem can be fixed. Let us help our colleague in fixing this issue. So what happens is your team morale will be increased, your team bonding will be enhanced. So you can see the differences between psychologically unsafe teams and psychologically safe teams here. Clear? Any questions? Okay, so if you don't have any questions, we'll move on. So now let us look at the definition, right? What is psychological safety? So Edmondson is a Harvard Business School professor, And Amy mentioned that psychological safety is a shared belief held by the team members of a team that this team is safe. That means everybody in the team feels that yes, this team is very safe to work. I can express my ideas, whether it is positive, it is a negative. I can challenge others. I can make mistakes and learn from it, right? And I am heard. I'm included in the team. So these are the things which they feel about the psychological safety, right? So you look at it. I think we already discussed about it. There are mainly four elements involved in it. When we say that this particular workplace is a psychologically safe workspace, what it means is people are able to speak up. That means whether they make mistakes or whether they find out any risks in the proposed ideas or whether they have any new ideas, they will be able to speak up without any fear of repercussions. That is number one. Second thing is admitting mistakes. Yes, I have done this mistake. Even if it is done by the manager, if it is done by the leader, if it is done by the team member, they come forward. As soon as they identify the mistake, they come forward and say, I have done this mistake. How can we resolve this? How can we address it? Because that's good for the team delivery, right? And then experimenting. So this is very, very important. So instead of following the standard, traditional approaches, can we look at solving this problem in a little different way? It can be little creative, it can be little innovative, right? So how can we experiment? Only then team members, right, will be more involved, they'll be more engaged. So that they get an opportunity to come up with the creative solutions. Otherwise, it is a regular routine work, right? You just do a very standard procedure, then they will lose interest because it leads to boredom. But when you ask people to come up with the creative ideas, innovative ideas to solve a problem, they're all engaged more, they're all involved more, and they come up with the different ideas. I have seen it in my experience, right? So just throw the problem to your team members and ask them to come up with new ideas. I'm sure you will be surprised with the solutions they come up. Really, really great ideas. But only thing is we need to create that platform for the people to come up with. And asking for help again, right? If I'm stuck up with something, or I don't know how to do this, or I have a lot of workload, ask for help so that you will get that help. But only you need to provide that kind of ecosystem. You need to provide that platform so that people can freely come and ask for help. Again, here there is one more subcomponent here. For example, I'm stuck up with something and I'm going and asking my colleague for help. So now what happens is I get the help from my colleague and I complete my task. And after completing the task, I should recognize my colleague's effort. I should not take credit. See, many times why people are not ready to help is because other people snatch the credit. They try to get the credit instead of giving credit to the proper people. So that is the reason why they say, no, I don't want to help you. Because see, I helped you, but you are taking the entire credit. I'm not saying that, you give the 100% credit to me, but at least recognize my efforts. You tell, okay, manager saying that, boss, I got stuck up somewhere and Mr. Vinay came and he helped me. So you give the credit to them so that they will come forward to help you later. That is important. But many times what I see is people don't give credit. So that is where, you don't get the required help. Okay, so these are the basic four elements of psychologically safe workspaces: speaking up, admitting mistakes, doing experimentation, and then asking for help, as well as supporting your colleagues. Okay, so now, as per Timothy Clark, there are 4 stages of safety. So anybody knows what are this? Inclusion safety, learner safety, contributor safety, and challenger safety? So basically, what is inclusion safety is, yeah. Anybody? Yeah,
No,
Manu.
no, I haven't heard of it.
Okay, thank you. So we will discuss it, not a problem. So what is inclusion safety? Like, I give small example, right? I'm, working in Chennai. In many organizations, if I go, what happens is probably 70 to 80% of the people are from Tamil Nadu, right? So like say, for example, if you have a 10 team members. Out of that, maybe 6 or 7 people are from Tamil Nadu who can speak Tamil, and maybe the other 3 people are non-Tamil speaking persons. So now what happens is in the team members, in the team meetings, when something is discussed, suddenly these 7 people switch to Tamil, ignoring the other 3 people. So the other 3 people, they don't know whether you are talking about them, you are talking negatively about them, positively about them, or you are talking something else. It's very difficult. They will be completely off. Right? They feel very awkward. Probably this is not done intentionally, but because many people are majority of the people are like from the same regional language, they switch to that. Similarly, if I go to Delhi, I can see that 7 to 8 people are Hindi speaking, and immediately they switch to Hindi. But people who don't know Hindi, right, they cannot understand. So then what happens is they don't feel included. Similarly, as I discussed, like sometimes the younger people, when they give ideas, that is not received properly by the senior team members, because they think that I know everything, kind of thing. So you are not included. You are not included in the decision making. You are not included in the discussions. So that is called inclusion safety, right? So the learner safety is, it is about, okay, can I take risk? Can I learn something? I don't know, right, how to do this. Can I try it in a new way? Can I ask questions to my team members, my colleagues? And am I allowed to make mistakes because I don't know? And this is called learner safety. Contributor safety is basically you are having a new idea, and are you able to speak up? And are you able to contribute to the success of the team, right? Deliveries. And are you allowed to express your ideas? That is called contribution safety. Challenge safety is, okay, I identify risk, right? But am I allowed to call out that risk, right? Or people will not listen to me because I don't belong to them, or I don't, I'm a very young or junior member in the team, right? Or maybe people think that I always ask questions, or I always challenge them. Of course, there is a way you can challenge this, the others' ideas. But in general, if people don't appreciate raising the red flags, or identifying the risks and talking about it, that is where we call it the challenge safety. So in a team, we need to have all these things. So the inclusion safety should be there. Everybody should feel included. The learner safety, basically people should be curious enough to learn new things and implement it in their projects. And contributor safety is basically you should be able to, express your ideas without, fear of repercussions. It may be agreed by, others. It may not be agreed by others, but still, if you think that that contributes to the team success, you should be able to do that. And then challenging others in a proper manner, right? Okay. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but can we look into the negative impact of it? Can we look into the pros and cons of it? Right? Do I have? Am I allowed to do that? And that is what's called challenge and safety. Clear? All right. Now, what are the benefits of psychologically safe workplaces? Right?
Yeah.
We talked about. Yeah. Thank you. So we talked about different types of what are the elements of psychologically safe workplaces, and we talked about 4 types of safety. Right now, what are the benefits? Can anyone tell what are the benefits of psychologically safe workplaces?
You get more ideas. You get better. Workplace becomes easier. It is like not very stressed. People feel
Exactly.
happy to come to workplace.
Very nice, very nice. Exactly. So, the stress will be reduced. You get good ideas, right? So, as you mentioned, as per the Gartner surveys, right? So, stress and burnout in the psychologically safe workplaces is reduced by 50%, right? Because when my ideas are heard, right, I don't feel isolated, right? See, the isolation itself causes a lot of stress in the team members. So those are the things we can talk about. So stress and burnout are reduced by 50%, and the trust in the team members. Yes, I can trust this person. I can talk to him or her in a very open way, right? So that trust factor increases by 70%, and your employee engagement, because we have seen those pictures, right? Yes, I'm heard. People listen to me. Then your engagement will be more. The people will come forward with the new ideas and all. So, and then your productivity and innovation will be increased by 45% because you are given an opportunity to talk about the new ideas, creative ideas. And obviously, because of that, your innovation factor will be increased as well as your productivity will be increased, right? Because you are no more doing the same things in same way. Maybe you are trying to do things in a different way, which will increase your productivity. So because of all these things, what happens is basically we are talking about high performing team. The team effectiveness will be increased by 40% and your projects will be more successful.
Vijay, where do we get this? Like you have mentioned, can you go to the previous slide? Yeah. You have mentioned 50%, 70%, 30%.
Yeah.
Is this from a study or something?
Yes, this is done by Gartner one survey. And also Google has done a very extensive research on this particular one. And they have also published these results. I will give you those resources in the last slide.
Sure. Thanks.
So now, how do we foster this psychological safety, right? What are the actionable strategies we have? So again, we are talking about safety. So I thought, okay, I'll introduce you to the framework called SAFE, SAFE, right? The first one is speak up and allow others to speak up. That means whenever you have any idea or you identify a risk, you need to speak up. That don't hesitate. Okay, what are the repercussions? Remember that when you are doing this, you are not doing it for the individuals. You are doing it for the team's sake because you are speaking up because you want your team to be successful. You want your project to be successful. So remember that in your mind, right? Don't think that, okay, if I tell this, probably, I may not be given a good promotion or increment kind of thing. Don't look at from the individual way, but look at from the bigger picture. How am I contributing to the team? How am I contributing to the success, right? So speak up. And second thing, very, very important thing is, in case if you are a senior team member or a project manager, or maybe you know many more details about the project than a younger person, but still, if that person wants to speak up, please allow them to speak so that you also will get a better idea. You may also get a new idea. You don't know. Or even if they say the same thing what you know, that means basically they are reinforcing your ideas. So there is nothing wrong in that. So please speak up and allow others to speak up. That is very, very important. And second thing is active listening and appreciation. Many times, when team members want to tell something, immediately they will be cut off by the managers or seniors, saying that, oh, I know this. Or, they don't even allow other people to complete their talk. Right. So please, active listening means basically you are allowing others to complete their views, their point of view, their opinions, and then have a discussion. Right. Please don't cut off them. And also appreciate, for bringing up the new ideas. Again, as I said, you may agree, you may not agree. That is a different thing. But at least you need to appreciate that somebody is okay coming forward to tell something different. Right. So that is one thing. And foster curiosity and learning. Again, this is related to the admitting mistakes and trying to do things in a new way. So you need to encourage your team members to come up with the new ideas. Now you can ask, right? See, we are doing as a team, we are doing great. Our project is on track, right? Our support work is doing great. But how can we improve it? There is always a scope for improvement. How can we make this more efficient? Or how can we improve our metrics? How can we improve our service level agreements, right? Adherence. So all these things, if you ask the questions, right, your team members will definitely come up with the new ideas. So you need to foster that kind of curiosity, right? So that the work will not become a very routine. And then E stands for extend and seek support. So basically, as I mentioned, that you need to ask for help, as well as when you think that your colleague or your team member is struggling with something, probably you need to extend the help. That is very, very important. So this is the SAFE framework, very simple thing, which you can implement it in your day-to-day life. Speak up and allow others to speak up. Active listening and appreciation. Foster curiosity and learning, and extend and seek something. Yeah. So now Any questions about this SAFE framework? So it is again, as I mentioned, go ahead, Gamal.
Yeah. No, I was just thinking, like, can we put some examples for each when we are saying speak up, allow others to speak? Like you had given us examples for previous slides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Similarly, we can put on examples for each of them.
Yes, definitely, right. So, for example, speak up and allow others to speak up is like, for example, if you think that there is something, very risk is there in one of the project ideas, right? So, we need to immediately raise that, risk, saying that, yes, hey guys, please let us take a pause here, right? I am looking at, this project and I'm seeing that there may be some risk involved in it, right? So what happens is when you are highlighting that risk or when you are highlighting a red flag, definitely you are trying to help your team members or help your team to get success. But if you know that there is something going on and you know that there is a risk involved in it, and if you don't speak up, what will happen is it will unnecessarily lead to delays in the project, and probably the risk may be realized towards the end of the project, which is very costly. When you identify the risks earlier, then the cost of rework probably is less. But when you identify the risk at the end of, during the later phase of the project, what will happen is your cost of rework will be much more higher. So we need to keep that in mind and we need to speak up. And similarly, for example, you know that your colleague is trying to tell something, but your senior team members or your manager is not allowing that person to speak up because they think that this person is very junior. Then you need to again stand up for them and say that, okay, please, can we allow that person to speak up? Maybe he or she has a good idea. Can we just allow, can we give that person 2 minutes to, so that they can express their ideas? So that is what we are saying, that you need to speak up and also you need to allow others to speak up, right? So, and second thing is again active listening. Active listening is one of the example is, I am coming up with a new idea, but my senior members immediately say that no, this doesn't work. And because they have a lot of knowledge on the project, I agree, but then without even looking into pros and cons of that, simply they say that, oh no, this is not going to work, or we always have done this way, why should we want to do the new thing? So what you are telling is you are not listening to them, what they want to say. So that active listening is very, very important. Right? Similarly, appreciating. Right? If somebody is coming forward with the new ideas, you need to appreciate it. Again, as I said, you may agree with that idea, you may not agree with the idea, but still you need to appreciate because somebody is looking and coming forward and expressing their ideas. Foster curiosity and learning is basically, as I said, you throw the challenge to your employees, your team members, saying that, okay, see, at this point of time, we are having, say, the process efficiency of 90%. How can we make this 90% efficiency into 95%? Can you please come up with the ideas? I'm ready to support you. Right? So now what will happen is you are asking, your team members to come up with a new way of doing things so that you can improve the efficiency. Or you can say that, this particular report is taking, 3 hours or 4 hours every day. How can we reduce it to 1.5 hours? So now what will happen is people will come up with, and I can tell you with my experience, when we challenge the team members, they come up with beautiful ideas, right? They really come up with, very creative and innovative ideas. But the only thing is we don't provide that kind of platform. Many times, the senior members or the team managers, they know that, they think that they know everything. And they also have some kind of ego factor. Why should I listen to a junior team member? So that is the biggest barrier. But if the people are open enough, then what happens is we challenge and we get new ideas. So that is what we are saying, foster curiosity and learning. Of course, when somebody wants to improve the process, there will be definitely few mistakes. We need to accept that. We cannot say that, people have to come up with a completely 100% perfect idea. It cannot happen. Yes, there may be, bound to happen. Some mistakes may bound to happen. We need to, as a team, we need to resolve it together, right? Considering the merits of it. And similarly, extend and seek support. As I said, people may be stuck up with something. Maybe sometimes they don't know how to do things. They don't know how to move forward. or they may be overloaded with the work, whatever it is. So they need to raise and say that I need help here. They need to raise their hand. So we need to create that kind of platform saying that, okay, yes, you can always raise your hand and ask for help. We don't consider it as an incompetency. Many times people don't ask for help because they may think that my manager thinks that I am incompetent. That is not correct. And when you are overwhelmed with a lot of things, and sometimes you may not know because you are new to the team, right? You are new to the project. So it is okay to ask for help. So that what is happening again, we need to keep in mind that when I'm raising my hand for help, I'm actually helping my team to deliver properly. That is important. Say, for example, if I don't raise my hand and I don't know how to do that, what will happen? The project will be delayed. There will be a lot of mistakes. There will be a lot of errors happen, and there will be a lot of rework. So project will be failure. So we need to create that team work in mind, right? We need to create that culture of teamwork in the minds of the people. Whatever I'm doing it for the sake of team, right? So that is what, and also manager should very clearly say that, okay, I'm not considering this as a incompetency. See, incompetency, like for example, if I'm giving you the same type of task 3 times and still you are not able to do, that is incompetency. But when I'm giving you a task for the first time and you don't know how to do that, it is okay to ask for help, right? So that kind of thing, we need to keep it in mind. Is it clear, Manotika, for the examples?
Yeah, thanks for that.
So now, we'll move. This probably is the last slide, right? So, what is the key takeaways from our discussion so far? Right. So, psychologically safe workplaces is foundation for what? We discussed about it, right?
Yeah,
Psychologically safe. Yeah, go
hello.
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
High engagement.
Yes, exactly. The high performing teams, right? Psychologically safe workplaces is the foundation for your high performing teams, right? And second thing is it enables risk taking, learning, and what kind of communication?
Open
Psychologically, psychologically safe workplaces encourages risk taking, learning, and what kind of communication?
open communication.
Very good. Excellent. Open communication, right? So we can see, open communication, and there is a trust and respect in the team members. There is a lot of inclusivity, and then, they can take risks. And who is responsible for creating safe environment in the team?
Each one of us.
Exactly. So many times when I conduct these sessions, people say it is team manager, leadership team. No. Yes, they are also responsible, but everybody individually responsible for creating a safer environment, right? So is it safe for me? Is it safe for my team? That is where we need to speak up, right? Speak up and stand up for others. Okay. So here are some of the resources given, right, for if you want to learn more about psychological safety. So, so there is a book by, Amy Edmondson. As I discussed, she's like Amy is the Harvard Business School professor. And he has written a beautiful book, The Fearless Organization, right? How to create this kind of psychological safety. And also Timothy R. Clark, we have seen the different types of psychological safety. So he has written an article. And then Google has done extensive research. It's called Project Aristotle on team effectiveness and how do we create psychological safety. Yes, of course, if you want more, we can conduct more sessions as well. And so just I want to leave you with one thought that building psychological safety is an ongoing process. It is not a one-time checkbox activity, right? It's an ongoing process, and every step we take, every discussion we have, we need to ensure that we are including everybody there. We are allowing them to speak up. We are providing them the platform to admit mistakes, experiment the new things, and we need to allow them to seek for help, right? So it's your commitment makes all the difference. Yeah. So any questions?
Yeah, thanks, Vijay. That's a very good session.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So before we close, maybe I want to ask you, one quick question, right? So psychological safety, creating psychological safety in the offline workspaces versus online workspaces, because many of the organizations are going through the hybrid work model and remote work and all. Of course, now a lot of people are asking people to come to the organizations for work, but still we can see a lot of remote work happening, right? So which is easier? Creating psychological safety in the offline environment is easier, or offline online environment is easier?
Online is easier, I feel.
Okay. And any reason for that?
Online, the team can easily ask questions and inform whatever they feel like through chats or however, because we are not facing them in person. In person, we try to understand their you know what they're not saying. Also, we try to understand, and it becomes very difficult.
Agree, Manojit. I think, I mean, again, the answer to this question is yes and no, right? To certain extent, whatever you mentioned is correct. Like, for example, when everybody is attending the meeting online, so everybody is given equal opportunity to, express their views. They can raise their hands in the, Zoom or whatever it is, and, they will be given the opportunity to speak up. But in the physical environment, probably some people feel shy and they may not be able to open up. Right? So that is one thing. But the flip side of it is what happens is many times people attend the meetings without, opening up the camera. So we really don't know how they are feeling, right? If, for example, if I am proposing a new idea and immediately I'm snapped by some my colleague, then I don't, we don't know how the person is feeling because we can't read their face, facial gestures, right? Facial expressions. But if the same thing happens in the offline environment, probably we clearly know, okay, that person is upset or that person is trying to say something, but we are not giving them the opportunity. So at least, we will have some clues. But in the online environment, probably the clues we may be missing. So that we need to be cautious, and conscious of it, right? And the other important thing in the online meetings is, see, in the offline meeting, when somebody is discussing and if somebody really wants to snap others, they can do it. And we know, okay, this is what happened. But in the offline, what I observed is like, many times people may send very rude messages to them in the IM, in instant message window, right? So for example, I'm a new member and I'm proposing a new idea. And immediately, I get a IM. It is not to everybody, just for me, saying that, oh man, shut up. You can't provide this kind of suggestions. You can't provide this kind of recommendations. This doesn't work. We all are seniors here. How can you propose like this? But this, what happens is, this is happening one on one, right? So some senior team member sends a message, very rude message to a junior team member. So other people don't know what is happening. So that is a bigger risk in the online environment. So now what happens is, as a HR or probably as a leadership team, we need to tell the people in case, it is a kind of cyberbullying, right? So in case if they are facing this kind of issues, they need to speak up. They need to report it, right? Because nobody has the right to discourage others. And that also in a very impolite manner, right? You can always tell in a very respectful and polite manner, but kind of sending very rude messages and vulgar messages, that is not acceptable. So as a leadership team, as a HR team, we need to set the boundaries, saying that this is what we should do. Yeah. So online environment has its own challenges, offline environment has its own challenges. Yeah. Okay, so I think we are almost on time. Any quick other questions? Maybe if not, we can
Okay.
wind up. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining today's session, and special thanks to Mr. Vijay Kumar for sharing such practical insights on creating trust, openness, and safety at work. At Skillemme, we believe learning is the key to transformation, and we hope this session inspires you to foster workplaces where people feel safe to contribute their best. So we look forward to connecting with you again in the upcoming learning journeys. Until then, let's commit to making our workplaces more inclusive, safe, and empowering. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you all for attending and giving your time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.